joke was that our state flower is mildew because it rains so much.
And so you might just accidentally push yourself in the wrong direction a little bit, and then it's like, I'm going to pay for it the next day.
There's no guarantee whether we'll do it.
But I was just like chilling, I look over and I was like, oh, hello, vagina. I was
gonna keep that compass pointed, true north to what you believe.
Definitely don't go to school.
Go to rock and roll school.
That's kind of crazy, but
I don't remember this.
Me neither.
But when it comes to write lyrics, I really, it's a pain in the ass for me,
Wow, this is what I want to listen to during my whole life.
Did you really bring that up? That was a private conversation.
I hope people keep thinking that I'm really relaxed while I'm playing and do not realize when I'm playing the difficult parts of the song.
Those things are always interesting just because I'm so scattered.
Polka metal can be interesting.
Polka metal, yeah. I like it. It's a microphone. What am I supposed to do with this? I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I know who to sue.
Yeah.
It was that being told I can't and I shouldn't made me want to do it.
And I'm really hopeful that that's not possible.
I want to be in their presence, so I conduct my life in a way that I hope that they want to be in my presence as well.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Mark Sugiyama from Eclectic Arts, based here in Seattle, Washington, in the United States. Thank you so much for joining me on this Tuesday, the 8th of June, 2021. And as always, I have a little bit of housekeeping to go through before we get to our interview this afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at. Coming up on Thursday this week, I have Alex Freeman joining me at noon Pacific Daylight Time, which is 3 p.m. Eastern. And then at 1:30, the same day on Thursday, I have Sonia Anubis from Crypt joining me that afternoon. So that's going to be fun. Their album is coming out, actually, I think it's the very next day on the 11th on Friday. And I have other interviews scheduled for next week and the week after that. I'm also starting the Tribeca Film Festival this Wednesday. So that's going to be taking up a huge chunk of my time. So I'm trying to be mindful of the live streams and finding that balance. If you want to know what I'm up to at any given day, please follow me as Eclectic Arts Media, one word, on Instagram. That's where I post everything first, and then I migrate some of that information over to other platforms. If this is your first time seeing my interviews here on my YouTube channel, if you could do me a huge favor and subscribe to my channel, I greatly appreciate that. If you want to know what's coming up in the future, you can also hit the notification bell, but just be aware that's going to send you emails to your inbox. So if you're not looking for that, just subscribe to the channel, and that always helps me out. If you're on the Twitch side of things, if you could follow me over there, that's also greatly appreciated. And yeah, I got a lot of things coming up, so I'm really excited about what we have going on. But I was just listening to the new album from my guest today again this morning, and it's just it's phenomenal. So let's get to things. My guest today is a band founded in Germany. Their brand of music is filled with organically heavy yet beautiful riffs and melodies. Their new album, Leaves of Zakum, is coming out on June 18th on Metalville Records, so that's a week from Friday. Please welcome to the Eclectic Arts Virtual Studio, Lisa and Jan from Demon Incarnate. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you. How are both of you?
Yeah, I'm really fine. And you?
I am doing well over here. I really appreciate both of you taking the time to. I can't talk today. I appreciate you taking the time to do the interview and the live stream. I can't wait to talk to you more about the album and the band.
Yeah, thank you. Very, very happy about your inviting.
Very cool. So, as I was mentioning during my introduction, the new album's coming out next week, and so how long has this been in the process? Meaning, like the recording and everything. Have you been waiting a long time because of the lockdown period, or were working on the album during that time? What's the timeline been like for this new album?
Yeah, it was a while. We started recording it nearly 2 years ago. It was done in early 2020. And because of the lockdown and we switched record labels, it took a little bit longer to bring it out. And so this is our debut on Metalville, and we're looking forward and hope for the release.
Okay, and what can you also kind of walk me through what's been like the since you were recording and working on it right to the beginning of 2020 before that you changed labels and the lockdown and all that? What's the songwriting process like? How did these songs take shape?
This time it was a little bit different. We took a little bit more time and did a proper pre-production of the whole thing. And we tried out a lot of different things, and we tried to bring more the organ and a little bit piano stuff like that in the background, and a little bit experimenting. Not everything worked out, and we cut a little bit away in the end, but after all, we're very happy with the final version.
Okay, and Lisa, for your part as a vocalist, are you coming up with the melodies and lyrics, or is that coming from other members of the band? How does that work for your part?
Usually the band creates the melody, and then I write a part of the lyrics. Mostly I do it together with Jan, and then I create my own singing melody, and
Okay, so it's kind of a collaborative effort then. You have some things that are coming from the band and some things that are coming from you.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and so like
mix everything together.
All right, and with these songs on the new album, are they? Because it sounds like it's been kind of a process to get this thing recorded, and then you had to wait to release it, and here we are in June of 2021, and it's finally coming out. Have you been able to look back and listen to the album from beginning to end and think, I still feel as good about this as I did? Or is it kind of like how artists tend to think, oh, I could have maybe done that a little bit better, or I could have changed something here?
Sure. For myself, I'm really critical. I always hear something at the end when it's finished, and then I think, oh man, gosh, no, it's too late. And then, sure. But I think I'm still very proud about what we created, and I think we did a good job with this album.
Okay.
I think every one of us finds in the end something which could have been better, but all in all, we are all very happy still with the outcoming of the record. So.
Yeah, and and you should feel that way because it's really, really good. And I'm just curious about the title of the album. That I was kind of looking some things up, and I don't know if this is correct, but it's talking about that the Leaves of Zakum talks about the tree that springs out of the bottom of hell. Is that kind of where can you tell me why you picked that title for the album?
Jan, would you like to start, Jan?
Yeah, no problem. So first we had the songs and we had the names of the songs and stuff like that. And so we were looking for a main theme which covers all the songs and stuff, and which fits. And so we were looking for something, and I think Lisa and me, we find together this book with the name Leaves of Zakum, and we thought it was a good idea to bring it on. And the tree Zakum has its fruits from hell, and I think the idea was that every song represents one of the fruits of the tree. That was the main idea. We liked the idea, and we put that together.
Yes.
Okay, and Lisa, anything that you want to add to that, or that
was just what I wanted to say about the fruits, and it's like, the things that come out of hell, like lies and demons and your own demons and the black veil sometimes that lies over your life. And yeah, also the mesmerizing and
Okay.
that you have to resist.
All right. No, I like the fact that there's some intention behind it, and like you're talking about with the songs, and also the kind of things that are associated with hell. And you can see here in the background with the album cover of the tree, and there's like the flames underneath it representing hell, and that's really cool. And obviously it fits the band name and some of the music that you're doing. I think also what's interesting for me at least is that I think it would be really easy to say that, oh, they're a stoner band or they're a sludge band or a doom band. But to me, you guys have a lot of influences in your music. So some of that's true, obviously, but I think there's other things too that's going on. I think that's what really made me kind of take interest in what you were doing, because I'm like, I like this kind of stuff and it's got this heaviness to it and it feels really organic, but there's some other kind of aspects to that music. Is that pretty much true?
Yeah, definitely.
We also have this Oriental influence. I think you can hear it out of the songs. Yes, and sometimes I also think there is a little bit soul influence too by the singing parts. Yeah, that's not typically maybe a metal way to sing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a lot of mixed parts. We're all kids of the 90s, so we grew up with different influences. We grew up with classical stuff from the 70s, like, of course, Sabbath, but other stuff like bands like Mountain, Purple, and stuff like that. We have influences like stuff from the 80s, Maiden, and all this kind of stuff. But we, of course, and certainly have influences from the 90s too, from Seattle. Bands like Alice in Chains, of course, and the Melvins, Soundgarden, stuff like that, but also Trouble, the 90s records from Trouble, or The Obsessed and stuff like that. But yeah, that's more fiction.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and it makes sense to me that, again, as I'm listening to it, that I'm hearing all these kind of different things. It's not one note. Sometimes when I've heard bands that are considered doom or sludge or stoner rock or something, that to me they're kind of like a one note. One song sounds like the rest of the songs, and your album doesn't sound like that at all to me. There's a lot of variance going on, yet it's still freaking heavy and beautiful at the same time. So it's really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, and speaking of that, do you have a question about? There's two, I guess you could call them interludes on the new album. I was longing for part 1 and part 2, and I'm just kind of curious, what was that? Just something you purposely put on the album, or you were just messing around with some music? Thought this kind of fits between tying this song to the next song.
The idea was to make it to bring in a little bit difference. The two interludes are more acoustically driven, and so they give the whole record a different touch to it all, I think. So it's when you have 2 or 3 songs of which are more heavy and more distorted guitars, and after that comes 1 or 1.5 minutes of acoustic guitars, I think it makes the whole thing fresh.
Yeah, it definitely gives a chance to breathe when you have like an interlude, and then it kind of sets you up for the next song. And you have so many songs in there. A lot of times I'll listen to something and I'll be like, well, that sounds like the first music video, and that sounds like the second one. In this case, there's a lot of them on there that sounds like they can be, they're that strong as standalone songs. And that's actually a good segue. So you put out the music video for In Disguise back in May. And what can you tell me about shooting that video and the intention behind it?
Yeah, usually it's almost a self-made video, and it just began with a flashlight and bed sheets. So we were dancing behind the bed sheets and tried to catch our shadows with the camera, and then our media man Steve, he tried to make something out of it. Yeah, so that was the whole idea, and I think he did a good job. Just create something out of a a clip of a bed sheet and a shadow.
The problem at that time was we had a big lockdown in Germany, so it was hard for us to walk out with 5 or 6, 7 guys and and do a video and shoot some other things. And so we were thinking about how we could do it that everyone comes one after the other individually. And so we talked with our friend Stevie, who shoots the videos and makes all the stuff. And so we came up with this idea.
Okay, well, hey, I mean, the sheets and the light worked. I mean, the video, I mean, it captures kind of the retro vibe of the band and the song. It also kind of gives a little bit of mystery because we don't see you in that video. So it's kind of, I think it worked.
Yeah, good.
Well, and like what Jan had said, that I've talked with many bands that we're trying to have, they're in the same predicament. It's like, how do we figure out how to do a music video when we can't physically be together, or we're not supposed to be, because of lockdown and COVID and all that. And they had to get really creative. They had to figure things out. And, some of them worked really well and some of them, not so well. But your guys definitely worked, because I wouldn't have actually known that was something that you just kind of, well, let's figure this out and, hope for the best kind of a thing. It really works. That means you could, do Bad Sheet Part 2 if you wanted to. So with the album coming out next Friday, are there other things that you're getting ready? So is there another music video? Is there something else? Are you able to even think about shows in the fall, or where are things at for the band in terms of what's coming up?
Yeah, there will be another single released this Friday. It's from the second song, Liar's Tongue. And I think the label will present a new video, kind of a lyric video, which will come out on Friday, I think.
Okay, cool. So so that's coming out on Friday. And yeah, is it one of those things in terms of like live performance that it's too early for the band to tell, or are you already starting to look at things? I see different things coming into my inbox in terms of press releases from bands. Some of them are able to start touring again. Some of them aren't doing it till next year. Where's it at for Demon Incarnate?
At the moment, it's still it's not foreseeable for us when it will start again. So we are talking, and we have still some old gigs in line, which were supposed to be for last year. We hope to reschedule well that, and so yeah, we hope that at latest in 2022 that we can start again to tour and to represent a new record live.
Okay, great. Well, that I can't wait to hear these songs live. I mean, even if it's for me having to watch something on YouTube or whatever, I don't know if you're going to get a chance to come to the US, but just the fact that you'll be on the stage somewhere playing, because these songs are really, really good. And I'm sure your fans and new fans are going to want to hear them live. And I'm just also kind of curious, since I have both of you here, Lisa, what is your music background, your vocal background? How did you get involved with music?
Okay. Usually I already started singing when I was a little girl, and when I was in school, I was singing in a school band, and I remember our hit in the school band was a cover, and it calls that I'm a bitch, I'm a mother, I'm a child, I'm a lover. Yeah, I remember that one. And yeah, I did that over there for 2 years. And then after a couple of years later, I got into a cover band, and we were doing some classic rock cover and some soul songs. Yes, and I did that for a couple of years. And then my ex-husband, he had a band project with Jan and other friends. And yeah, and then they were looking for another singer, maybe for Demon Incarnate, or maybe they wanted to do something own. And because I was always interested in doing my own songs, I was, thought, why not just try it? And then we were doing a band practice, and yeah, just jamming, and then it fits at the beginning, and it was like, okay, we're gonna do this. Yes, that's how I got there.
Okay, well that's I think it's interesting that you mentioned soul a couple times, and there definitely is some soul in your voice, and so I think it adds this other element to what the band's doing, which makes it really interesting. And so are you basically self-taught then, other than some of the school stuff that you were doing early on as a vocalist?
Can you repeat that question? I didn't really understand it.
So are you self-taught, or did you take lessons as a vocalist?
No, I didn't take any lessons. I just sing.
Wow, well, that's amazing to me, because you have a really rich voice. I would have thought that you had taken some lessons at some point and then kind of branched off on your own. But if you're self-taught, that's amazing.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and Jan, same thing. I'm curious about, how did you get involved with music in your background?
Oh, it started out when I was a teenager still. We got the first bands together and stuff like that, friends, and yeah, we kept on doing it. We always liked stuff like Sabbath. It started with that, mixed with early 90s Seattle stuff and doom stuff from the 90s. And so, like Lisa said, I had a band with her ex-husband, and yeah, we know each other all for 15, 20 years or longer. And so, yeah, we came together again, and it worked out with Steven. We had a special chemistry in the band, and yeah, it was, and it's still fun every week to meet with the guys and yeah, to work out new songs and stuff like that.
Okay, and with I just thought about something too, based on what you both had just said. With the new album, was it just the three of the members that were working on the songs for the new album, that you didn't have the full 5/6 people on the album?
Yeah, this time it was 3 people. It was our drummer Kai, Lisa, and me working out the record. We had a lot of support from our producer, who was helping us out and giving us tips and talking a lot with us about the direction the record should go. And we had a lot of help from our friend Stevie, who also does the videos and stuff like that. He did play some organ and some piano in the background of the record. He does that for years, but this time it was special. So we were a small group. The record was done in a time where we had a not planned change in the band. So our longtime bassist Phil had to quit the band for personal reasons, and he had to do that. So we stand all behind him. He had his reason for that. We understand him totally for doing that, and so we took the time and we went on with 3 guys, and it worked out.
Okay, and so are you still considered an international band? Are all the members from different countries, or are they all based in Germany now? Where's everybody from now?
At the moment, we all live in Germany, but our second guitarist, Donny, is originally from Asia and from Indonesia. And Lisa's dad, you can better explain that.
Yes, I'm half American, but I can't really speak English. No, it's because I'm not practicing so good anymore. It used to be better, but that's why. And before, our old bass player, he was from French, so.
Okay, so that's where that comes from. They were saying Germany, yes, France, America, but actually I should be updated with Indonesia taking place of France then.
Yeah, no, yeah. But in our region it's nothing special. We're living just 5 or 10 minutes around the border, so it's not something special that one of us comes from France and the other ones maybe from Luxembourg or Germany. That's all around the border. but we met regularly in the rehearsing room, and we are a little bit old school with that, and so we don't work a lot about internet and stuff.
Okay. What? And that actually brings up another question. When you were recording this album, did you do it? Did you use a click track for the drum parts and that kind of thing to keep everything on time, like what everyone's doing now, or did you try to go real old school and actually try to like lay down the basic tracks as a drummer, and maybe if you're doing the bass part or something like that, or the guitar or the rhythm guitars or something? Did you try to do it where you didn't have a click track, or did you actually do playing to a click type of thing?
We did with a click, but we were still playing it on the click line kind of stuff.
Okay, all right, yeah, because I think that it's been really interesting that I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, so a lot of that stuff, they didn't have clicks back then. So either your drummer was on time or they weren't, and you had to kind of work off of that. But that's also why they have a certain feel to them. And then as things got modern, then it became everything was click, click, click in the studio just to make things easier to put everything together. But then some of that becomes harder for a band to have that organic sound. And then this record does have it. That's why I started thinking, which way did you guys go? So you kind of had a little bit of both, it sounds like.
Yeah, that is something which depends on Kai. He has a lot of feeling for stuff like that, and he is really well in playing even about the click and giving his own touch to it, and then still make it kind of organic. And yeah, that's his thing, and that's one of his strengths. And yeah, I'm happy that it worked out that way.
Yeah, for sure. And something I've had the pleasure of interviewing guests during the last 15 months or so virtually, where I like to always ask, especially for bands that are based in Germany and based in Europe, that heavy music has been a stronghold there for decades. I mean, just for years. It doesn't matter if it's hard rock, metal, black metal, death metal, just traditional metal, power metal, all that. And then over here, like in the US, it kind of goes up and it goes down in terms of popularity. Why do you think heavy music has such a stronghold over in Europe? Why is it still so popular all these years?
Yeah, I think it still has a big fan base, and a lot of bands are touring regularly, and you can see the bands regularly, and so the fan base gets bounded to the bands a little bit more, maybe. I don't know, but I have to see that most of the people attending at concerts are at an age about 30 up. So I think we will have the same problem like it is maybe in the US in 10 years or something about that. And now we see the second problem with COVID and all the stuff. We will see if all the clubs, the live clubs and stuff like that will survive. That will be a big issue, and yeah, we will see how that comes out. I think that will bring problems. Already see that locally with pubs and stuff like that are now closed, and so I hope that not so many live clubs will be closed, but we will see.
It's a very valid point. That like here in Seattle, I think there's at least one or two clubs that didn't make it. I hope all the rest of them do, but I won't really know until I start getting back out there to shoot shows and review them. And yeah, same thing all around the world. It's like, well, bands want to play, but are those clubs still there? Are the promoters still around? The booking agencies? And there are some, of course, but yeah, there's going to be some casualties, unfortunately, and that's going to make it tougher. It's like, well, we don't have our normal place to play when we go to this city, so what club is open and willing to have us come and do our show? And that is going to be an interesting thing to navigate, just like it is with these. I've seen some bands that are going on tour and then also trying to do virtual tickets for those shows. So like if you don't live for me, like if Demon Incarnate is doing a tour in Europe, and then you do a virtual broadcast of, like, say, I don't know, a couple of the shows, someone like me could actually buy the ticket and still feel like I'm somewhat there because I can't physically, well, I could get on a plane and fly over there, but financially, I don't think that's going to work for me right now. But at least there's some kind of interesting silver lining of how we might be able to move forward with what's happened with the virtual part and incorporating that into the in-person part.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, that's never going to replace being there in person.
That's right, but it brings other opportunities too. That's right.
Absolutely. So, like you mentioned, you got a new single coming out, which is "The Liar's Tongue," which is the second song on the album. Again, and this album for folks out there, I realize you haven't had a chance to hear all of it yet, but you will on the 18th. You come off and you hit like 1, 2, 3. I mean, those 3 songs are just like so strong and so good, and it's just like I could easily see the "In Disguise," "The Liar's Tongue," and then "To Resist" being like the third single or something, because they're just like bang, bang, bang. Yet they're also uniquely different. I love the fact that you can really hear that bass pumping through the music, and then the riffs are going on, and then Lisa's voice comes over, and it just kind of all gels together. And one song I'm curious about before we kind of wrap this up is the last song, which is "Worms." Was that specifically put as the last song on the album, or did it just kind of happen that way?
I think we were a lot of thinking about how we will place the songs on the record, and so it has its reason why it's the last song for me, at least. So it is an old song, a very old song. We played that live for years, and it never made it. It was originally from another band of us, and we changed it a little bit, added some parts and stuff like that, reworked it a little bit, and yeah, we wanted to do that already on the last record, but it didn't fit on it right, and this time we had it fixed really cool, and yeah, I think from my feeling it was right to be the last.
Okay, yeah.
And also the title of the song is "When You're Full of Grave Worms, then it's over, then it's the end." So it stands at the end.
Okay, I love the fact that that's there's like different meanings, and also there's definitely intention of why that song was last. That song has been with the band for a while, and it finally fit the album. And then the lyrically with the title that it also finished like, yeah, the album's over. That's why it's here. That's awesome. Well, Lisa and Jan, thank you so much for taking the time, and I wish you every success with the album. And if we get a chance to maybe reconnect during the summer to maybe update where things are at with the band, I would love to do a part 2. I always like to stay in touch with my guests. I don't like to do a one and done. I always like to kind of keep things going and see where things are at. But I love the album. I think your fans are going to love it, and you're going to get some new fans for sure.
Thank you very
Hopefully.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night over there, and stay safe.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.